Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Alfredo, and welcome to Chat Desk Unplugged, a show that promotes education and English language learning in Mozambique. In this day and age, we understand the importance and impact of English language for the global community. It's a language for communication, it's a language for business opportunities, it's a language for technology. But what does learning English really look like for students in Mozambique? How do the students find challenges? How do they overcome them? And how can we make it better? Every Wednesdays, we have on the show guests from different backgrounds, sharing their experiences, the barriers they've encountered, the successes they've managed to achieve, the takeaways, and all the benefits that come with learning English. Today, I have the privilege to welcome the First Lady on the show, Mrs. Maura Mabunda. She's a mother, she's a teacher, and she's doing her final year of English teaching degree at the University of Eduardo Mondlane. Ms. Maura, please welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you so much.
Please tell us, when did you decide that you wanted to become a teacher? Not a science teacher, not a history teacher, not a Portuguese teacher, but an English teacher, and why?
I decided to be a teacher first because I always like to be with people, different peoples, and have different experiences. And I had the opportunity first to learn English. Okay. I wanted to do law, first of all. That was the first dream that I had.
Okay.
But then along the time, I just decided to be a teacher because I had the opportunity to learn English with one of my cousins that he was studying at South Africa. Then when he came back, he decided to open a school in which he's going to be helping people like in our neighborhood to have the opportunity of speaking English. So by that, I have the curiosity of going deeper in that. And then the chances or the way that I learned, I had the opportunity to learn English. I wanted to help other people to do the same.
Wow.
So I started by giving home lessons first. It was 2018.
Wow.
I started giving
2018.
Yes.
18.
18.
Okay.
Yes. 2018.
Okay, it's been a while.
That was the first time that I started teaching by home lessons, but I was giving English. And then by that, I thought that it was something that I could change in the future to do law because it was not the first dream that I had. But because of the opportunity that I had to being with people, teaching kids, and there is nothing better to see that you will impact in a person's life in order to develop some ways in the life, so that I decided to enroll myself in faculty so that I'm going to move on teaching. Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You are a teacher, but you are also a student.
Yes.
You are training to complete with your degree. But I also know that you are a mother. How do you juggle between those three different things?
I can't lie that it's something difficult because it needs time management.
All right.
Yes, because I wake up at 5, I need to go at work, in which I had to be there at 7 o'clock. And then by 5, I need to be at faculty. So it's a little bit difficult, but because of the support that I have been having with my husband and my family, I used to take the time of when the baby is sleeping at night. That is the time that I used to study the things from my faculty and see some of the things that I have at work. So this is how I used to try to manage working, being a mother and a student at the same time while I'm finishing my degree in English teaching.
Okay. Let's get your experience in learning English. You mentioned about teaching, giving home lessons to people, but I believe it didn't happen overnight, okay?
Yes.
How was your first contact with English? How did you start learning English?
I start learning English in a course.
Okay.
Yes, it was Champions English Laboratory. It was
where was that?
Chambers English Laboratory.
Okay.
Yes, it was. It was in a house. It was a course that one of my cousin, he gives journalist and he was a teacher at the same time. So this is how I learned English. Yeah, so we had a lot of handouts, reading, BBC radio, so that is going to help us with our pronunciation. And that by that, with music, some songs, reading, this is how I learned.
And what were some of the challenges you faced during this process?
One of the challenges that I faced, it was first the pronunciation,
Okay.
because as our background, our mother tongue, the way we speak, of course, in a way is going to influence also in how we're going to talk. And the phrasal verbs also, because they seems to be similar somehow.
Okay.
Because some of the time you may use the same words, but depending on the situation that you are talking, you need to change, or some of the times they're the same. So I struggle a little bit with the phrasal verb and pronunciation too.
And how
and
did
how
you
to speak.
how did you overcome your pronunciation problems?
Hearing a lot of BBC radios.
Listening
Yes,
to
listening,
to
yes,
radio.
to the radio, so that I was listening how do they pronounce the word, trying to repeat at the same time. This is how I just overcome with the pronunciation.
What is your estimate? How long do you think it took you to learn English, to feel confident that you could speak English?
I think it was a year.
Okay.
Yes, because I was having lessons, I was learning how to speak English, but I had to stop. I had some times that I stopped, and then I went back. So I took a year to
Okay.
speak like confidently with no difficulties.
Right. One of the things that I've noticed in the street, when people meet someone who speaks English fluently, they tend to ask, where did you learn English, or how did you learn English? Do you have that experience of people asking around, where did you learn English? How did you learn English?
Yes, I had. So many people used to ask me, how do I learn, or where did I learn English? I think one of the things that call attention of the people for them to try to know how do we learn, or where, it's the way that we're going to approach or speak, the pronunciation that we're going to have. Because as you know, we know that English have different pronunciation. We can have British, American, American English, and
Yeah, we have
another
Australian.
one. Yes, Australian. So people used to think that because we are non-native English, we may not may not speak perfectly.
Okay.
So because of the
So they don't believe when they find you in the streets speaking the way how you speak.
Yes.
They tend to think that you are a foreigner.
That's it.
Okay.
Yes. So they used to think, where do you are you from Mozambique? And I used to say, yes, I am.
It happens.
No, but the way you speak, it seems like you're coming from other countries, and
Yeah.
somehow, because they were expecting like someone that lives in Mozambique to speak in their pronunciations like a little bit low, or with a lot of confidence.
Okay. We have a segment here that we call Etymology Quest. This has to do with tracing back the origins of some of the words that are commonly used in English, but they are not from English origin. So these English were borrowed from other languages and then adopted into the English language. So I'm going to ask you 3 words, one by one, and I want to see if you can guess where these words originally came from. And of course, they are not originally English.
Okay.
The first word is disinformation. Disinformation.
Disinformation.
Yes. Can you guess the country where this came from?
American?
No.
Australia?
Where? Australia? No.
London?
London, but London speaks English.
Yes, they
Similar
speak.
like Australia
It's
and
not. It's not from English
no,
country.
these words were adopted into the English language. They came from somewhere else. That's why.
Italian.
No.
Spanish.
Your last guess. Spain? No, I'm just going to give you one more guess. It's in Europe. I'll give you the answer. It came from Russia.
Oh, Russia.
Yeah, it came from Russia. It means to give false information to mislead someone on purpose. This information comes from the Russian word desinformatia, which was the name of a KGB propaganda. Another word is cashew. This one is a little bit tricky. Cashew.
Cashew.
Cashew, like the cashew nuts.
Cashew. Okay.
Cashew. The castanha, Portuguese. Is that a hint? Did I give you a hint?
Okay. Let me see. Maybe.
Just a guess. Shoot for a country.
Any country.
Any country. That's how we play in a game. It's a guess.
Italian.
No.
French.
No, it's not French.
Japan.
Where?
Japan.
No, you're going too far. It's from Portugal.
Portugal.
Yes, yes. It's from Portugal, which means the word caju in Portugal. So this was taken from the now extinct Tupi language. The last one is apartment.
Brazil.
No.
Portugal.
No.
Apartment. Because it seems to be similar with a Portuguese
No.
language, and then they borrowed.
It comes from Italy. Did you say Italy? No, you didn't.
I
Come from Italy.
I said
You said
it before,
Italy,
yes.
the other word,
Yes.
cashew, when we were discussing cashew. All right, let's continue. Let's talk about the benefits that you've had in your professional and personal life because of English.
I had a lot of benefits. First, it's because, as you know, English is a global language that we can
Okay.
use to communicate in other countries when you are. And I had the opportunity also to be teaching in English and helping so many students in that language too. So that is the opportunity that I have to
Okay.
be working in that language, to communicate with other people from different countries too.
Have you always been working in English-speaking environments?
Pardon?
Have you always been working in English-speaking environments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that also has contributed a lot.
Yes, a lot. Yes.
That's good. As a future teacher, I mean, you are already a teacher. You say you're working for a local school in Maputo.
Yes.
Is that so? But you're also training to complete your degree. What advice would you give to someone who wants to learn English?
The advice that I could give to someone that would like to learn English is that the first thing is that the person needs to take the first step.
Okay.
Because most of the people may not believe in themselves and they're afraid to learn, and they may think that it's something impossible. But the better way of learning English is by speaking, because we may have a lot of vocabularies, we read a lot, but if you never use those words and you commit a lot of mistakes, there is no how for you to learn English. So just to trust yourself and talk. Listen to so many things in English, stories, radio, films, music, and other way of learning English is by music. We know that so many people have many different stylists of music that we like to hear. So when you listen to those songs, you may try to find out the meanings, copying them. It's another form of learning English too.
And in your teaching process, what are some of the techniques and methods you have found to be effective in teaching English?
Vocabularies,
Okay, practicing vocabulary.
yes. Songs,
Okay.
songs too. And
Sorry, I didn't ask you, what age group do you work with? Your students' age group, yes.
10,
Ah.
and because I'm giving grade 6, so
Okay.
they're 10 and 11 years old.
Do you find it hard to work with that age group?
No, I don't. I think it's the best age to work with
Really?
myself
Okay.
because old people, they have a lot of things in their minds. They have a lot of responsibilities that for them to try to how can I say, for them to try to manage how to learn English, it may be something difficult because of the responsibilities that they have. While the kids, because they don't work, they don't have a lot of things to do, they don't have a lot of problems of things to do or think, it's easier for them to be learning English than
But that's a big debate because there is an argument that younger people learn faster than older people, but then you still get people who believe that adults learn better because their vocabulary or their mind is already formatted in a way that they've already have plenty of information that they can associate with what they are learning.
Yeah, I agree, but I still think that the younger are the better ones to learn
Okay.
than the adults. Yes, because they're still fresh, and you can, for them to learn and follow the instruction, it's better than the adult people. Yes.
All right, we have our next segment, which we call Blunder to Wonder. Here we are looking at some expressions or words throughout your learning process that you mistake them for something else. You know, as you learn a language, sometimes, especially a foreign language, sometimes there are those expressions that you think they are correct, and sometimes you are using them wrongly, and sometimes not only in the context, but sometimes it has to do even with pronunciation. Do you have any experience of something that you used to think it was like this, but then later on you realized, oh, did I really used to say this?
Yes. Sorry, pardon. Can you repeat?
A word or an expression that you used to use it in the wrong way, thinking that you were right, you were correct,
Yes,
or pronouncing it wrongly.
I heard there is a word. I had that word that for so many years
Okay.
I've been using in a wrong
Oh.
way. And I was thinking that I was pronouncing it in the correct way. It was, what is that word?
It's not coming to mind now.
Yes, it is.
Okay. It will probably come as we proceed, as we continue with the show. But has that word ever put you in trouble?
No.
Okay, so it wasn't very serious.
Yes.
Okay, believe. Okay, let's get to some final thoughts on our discussion. Have you noticed any changes in the way English is being taught at schools over the years? Have you noticed any changes in the way how English is being taught in our schools over the years, from your experience?
No. Any change? I think that the way we are learning English in our country, it is based on instructions like verb to be, past conditionals, and they go more to grammar, grammar, grammar than than how can I say than
If, let me say, if we were to appoint you as the Minister of Education tomorrow, because I got connections, I can do that. If we were to appoint you as Minister of Education, what would you change in the curriculum, in the program, with regard to English language?
the way of speaking, the way of teaching. I think we need to start with basic things, because most of the things that make people struggling in our schools or secondary school is that people, they don't know the basic things to communicate or to write as sentences or to answer. They may know the question and want to answer, but they struggle to answer because they don't know how to speak English.
Okay.
So most of the people know how to do the tests or write something because they have a background outside and they speak English perfectly. But out of that, because we don't teach base and encourage people with book and the way that we've been teaching English to make them speak in order that inside the school or out of the school they can communicate with any person. Many people have some struggles to write or to understand. Yes, so I think that we need to focus more or find so many materials or different ways of teaching in which people will feel free to talk and have different experiences to understand too, than going only to a course to learn English so that you're going to have a good develop a good
Performance.
performance.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
That's good. Yes.
Well, that I have connection part. It was just a joke. Don't take take that serious. You mentioned something very important when you talked about students being able to do the test, but without necessarily being able to communicate or understand English properly. What do you think about the testing method of multiple choice? Does that help students grasp the concept? Or does that help test students' understanding of a language?
Multiple choice, it does help, but at the same time not. For those that did not understand English, they might just choose any question for them to do the test and have a good mark. But at the same time, also, it doesn't help because the person does not understand what is here. It's just choosing a question so that it's trying to have a 10 or an 11.
So they're just playing a lottery.
Yes, that's it. So it's
If I hit
hitting
it,
like
I
a
hit
game.
it. If
Yes.
if I miss it, bad luck.
Yes, it's like hitting on the dark.
We're almost coming to the end of our conversation, but we still have one more segment, which I call the 5 faves, which is the 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite things in the English world. And I'm going to ask you those. Number 1 being, what is your favorite English word?
British.
Okay, the word. The word
The
British.
word.
Yeah, yeah.
Enhance.
Enhance.
Yes.
That's a beautiful one. Enhance. Would you like to maybe just to explain to the listeners or to the viewers what's the meaning of enhance?
Enhance is like, in Portuguese, it means enaltecer.
Enaltecer.
Enhance, yes.
Okay. Right. That's a good one. That's a good one. What is your favorite English phrase or idiom?
1,000.
1,000, I think.
It is 1,000
1,000
of
miles, journeys.
1,000 mile journeys begins with one step.
A Okay. 1,000 miles journey or a journey of 1,000 miles.
A journey of 1,000
Yeah,
miles
still the same thing,
begins
yes.
with one step.
That's a very, very inspiring one. What does that mean?
It means that if for us to make something to be to happy, we need to start with the first step. We need to
Okay.
have take everything that you may think that it's not possible for you to go ahead or to make it happen. You need to take the first step, and so that it's going to happen. If you
So-
have a dream or if you have a purpose to do, we need to take the first step, because if you don't try, it means that your dream is not going to come true.
Oh, amazing. Beautiful. Everything starts with the first step.
Yes.
That's very beautiful. We've come to the end of our discussion. Any final words? Maybe you've got some comments that you would like to make, or maybe you want to send some greetings to someone special watching at this moment.
I'd like to send some greetings to my twin sister,
Okay.
Susanna, and my colleague and my student, Sue.
Does your sister also speak English?
Yes, she does.
Wow. Fluently like you?
Yes, she does.
Wow. We should have her on the show. Is she also a teacher?
Yes, she's a teacher.
Wow.
We are twins. We had different dreams. She had dreamed to us to be dealing with medicines, to work in laboratory, and mine it was in law. But we had when we were learning English, and then we decided to give home lessons together, because as I said in the beginnings of the program, I gave home lessons, and then herself, my twin also was doing the same thing. And then both of us, because we like working with kids, we decided to move on, enrolling ourselves in faculty, so that we're going to do our degree in English teaching. So now we are working with the same thing. I am a teacher, and she's a teacher too. First, we're working in different schools, but then we had also the opportunity to be working in the same school. So we're
Is it?
twins, we
Are
are
you-
teachers,
you
and
kidding me?
working in the same school too.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's a blessing.
Yes, it
That's
is.
that's a huge blessing.
It is.
Wow. What's your sister's name?
It's Susanna.
Susanna.
Yes.
Well, a big shout out to Miss Susanna if you're watching. That's very beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Miss Maura Mabunda, for showing up on the show, and we'll have you around anytime you wish.
Thank you so much for the opportunity that you gave me to be here and learn with you, and to share some opportunities, to share some experience that I had during my journey in teaching and learning English too.
All the success to you. To all listeners, just remember that education is a collective effort. Whether you are a teacher, you are a parent, you are a policymaker, or students, just remember that your actions and voices count. Together, we can transform education in Mozambique. Well, if you like this episode, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more future episodes. My name is Tim Alfredo, and you've been watching Chat Desk Unplugged on Mindcast TV. Stay curious and keep learning. Ciao.